Should you renew your USPSA membership? That's one of the questions here. Let's go through some comments on the latest USPSA video. First one, I agree that in the 90 days, not much change has taken place. So, I think I've mentioned this before. It kind of seemed appropriate as there were so many changes on the board. Like, let's just sit back for 90 days and watch and just see what they do. Which again, I think that's fair. I agree that in the 90 days, not much change has taken place. And just to add some color to that, we've seen Donna, the managing director, leave, and Bama Jim, the attorney, fired. So those are two, I think, big changes. I don't think we have the whole story on that. Like, what went down? Why is Donna not there anymore? Like, I don't think that's public. I'm not sure how much of that ever will be. It's because of employment stuff. Anyway, yeah, that in my opinion, that's the things we've really seen. Like, with our own eyes, we've seen that stuff change. Anyway, let's continue with the comment. I'm waiting until the A5 and A2 elections are over. Good idea. I'm of the opinion that if they go well, USPSA has a chance. If not, A3 has shown that hit factor matches are working and are an option. Yeah, you could always do an outlaw thing. That's always been an option. I think that's growing. PCSL is growing. I think that's a very fair comment that we want to see good stuff happen in A2 especially. Having not Jim Adame win would be helpful because that guy seems like a maniac, honestly. He's got Leighton's hand up his ass. So that's not good. One other comment here. What is your opinion on the Acosta win in Area 4 BOD election? So Alex Acosta is the guy who's going to be taking Area 4. I know the guy personally. I like the guy. I think he's well liked by everybody likes him. He's one of those personalities that he's very friendly, and he's a match director type. I think his club was participating or is participating in the boycott. So I think I like the guy. I think as far as opinions, we had pretty similar opinions about what should happen. And Corncob, the dipshit running Area 4 now, is gone. So it's like, to me, that seems all good. I like Alex. I really do. And hopefully it's good to have him on the board. I think, demographic wise, in terms of age, people will he'll be like a Ben Barry. He's not nerdy sounding like Ben, but he's in his 30s, I think. He's not the same person as Ken. Let me put it that way. Let's take another comment. Concerning the alleged sexual harassment allegation, dudes need to understand sexual harassment is totally up to the alleged victim's judgment. Shooter A, who she likes, can joke and do whatever. She's good with it. Shooter B tries it. She doesn't like him. Then it becomes sexual harassment. That's why I didn't want to use that word. The allegations I heard were very serious. More serious than this. And from what I heard, it's that might be criminal. I don't know if that's a crime to do what that dude's accused of doing. Right? I don't know what happened. I'm not involved in it, but it's the allegations I heard were serious. And it's this should be investigated by the police. In my, again, based on what I heard, it's that should go to the police and they should sort out what exactly happened and if a crime was committed. Because it's a weird thing. And it's that might be a crime, what that guy's accused of. So that's why I didn't want to use that word, because a lot of guys get triggered by that, and I see a lot of replies and likes on this comment, and it's just that's why I didn't want to characterize it that way. Again, the allegation, the misconduct that is alleged is more serious than what you're conjuring up in your head. Let me put it that way. So that's, again, that's why I didn't want to say that, because that's what you guys are going to think. So it should have gone to the police. Maybe it did. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it was adjudicated, but I definitely know that the letter we saw that Yemen wrote, I'm that's dumb as hell. That makes no sense. On the face of it, it makes no sense. Apart from even knowing what the allegations are, it makes no sense. Anyway, let's take another comment. I'm on the fence about renewing this fall. Don't want perceived grifting to be rewarded, but I'd like to keep my voting rights. That is the dilemma, isn't it? Results of these area elections will sway my decision. Again, I think that's totally fair. there's a lot of guys that, I've talked to over the last year or whatever. They're on board. They don't like what USPSA is doing. They're down to like protest or whatever. But also the members at their clubs are like, well, we want to get classified. Like we want to, use the classification system. That seems to be the friction point now, is like people like the classification system for USPSA. People don't like the way USPSA is run. All very fair opinions, if you ask me. Say one more comment. I think giving the new board only 90 days to make some notable changes is a bit unrealistic. I do agree with making everything as transparent as possible will go along with way to showing the members they are making changes. The old guard didn't screw it up in 90 days. I think it will take some time to straighten things out. Something to keep in mind, board members are part-timers. I don't think it's unrealistic to do things like notable things in 90 days. I really don't. I mean, the last meeting they had was just all executive session garbage. Like they're not putting, like it's being run the same way. It's being run behind closed doors. Like they're not putting information out in public. It's not clear what they're doing. And from where I sit, like none of these guys on the board, because I've seen some frustration, like from Ken Cobb or other guys, where the guys on the board are frustrated. They're like, hey man, we're doing a good job or whatever. And it's like, from the cheap seats over here, it's like, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I don't really care what you say. It's like, we need to see receipts. Like, I will believe what I see. And if you guys are doing 2.5 hours of executive session every meeting, and then no information's coming out in public, and then you say, no, we're doing a good job. It's like, I don't care what you say. Like, I don't care. I'm not impressed by that. And nobody should be. Nobody should be. Like, it should be public what they're doing. They should be communicating. They should be messaging as much as possible. And right now, it appears that they're keeping as much as possible private still, which is not good. Anyway, enough about the USPSA stuff. Questions, comments, put it below.